Hey guys, it's day 82 of quarantine. We should be at Coachella right now.
I'd be home already.
No, you would not.
Sundays, I would never stay Sunday night.
No, that's not. I know, but you would have left. You'd probably be leaving right now.
No, I would have left Sunday morning. I usually leave like at 8 in the morning.
I think we'd be recording this episode by the pool.
No, I would have left.
Would have been my first Coachella.
That's presumptive of Pete thinking he was getting the invite.
You probably would have been invited.
You thought I was going to go with you guys?
Yeah.
You don't make enough to attend, Pete.
Pete, you got to do it the right way or not at all.
So we should be at this point. D claims he'd be home.
I would be. I've been home with the wife and kid.
I'd probably be like, you're right. I'd probably be home too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll speak for myself then. I would be poolside recovering from multiple hangovers, and just the start of my spring tan would be off to a great start.
Yeah.
I mean, if pre-kid, I'd be digging through some like cold Del Taco right now.
And old Bud Light.
Yeah.
Still in the fridge. You'd be like,
Yeah.
You anyone want one of these?
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, instead we're here, guys. And days are starting to blend together, but I'm pretty sure this is Monday's episode. Everyone at knock on wood is still healthy. Taylor, I'm not so sure about. He has a forced mask on for the whole episode.
Yeah.
I'm
need you
not
in
sure what
N95, bro.
Not sure what these younger guys are doing, on their own time. Pete, too. I don't trust you either, just for the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm quarantined. I'm apartment
quarantined
walks,
as
and that's
shit.
it.
I almost went to go boxing the other day because my trainer was like, "Oh, I'll do it one-on-one," and I'm like, I just can't. I've been doing too good that if you take one step out and then pull it up with coronavirus,
that'd be the worst case.
Just like kind of in my neighborhood, I'm curious what you guys think. I was mentioning to D right before. Mm-hmm. I think we've gotten to the point where it's gotten so intense that people are just terrified in the streets.
Yep.
So when I'm walking, I can visibly see people scared of us.
Yep.
And the only thing saving us is we have a kid.
Yep.
Like if the kid wasn't there, if I'm doing my runs, it's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
What are you doing running?
I don't get that vibe because I live in Hollywood and everyone's running. Everyone's outside. Like people are walking around and people are pretty respectful. Like if I have like a scale. If I'm by myself and if you're old and if you have a child, I'll move. If you're not old or don't have a child, it could be a head-on collision. I'm not fucking moving.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's just
fair.
rules. Like at that point, it's like, who's going to step away? Because I'm not afraid of you.
My point is not like, I just kind of feel we're turning I feel like 2 weeks ago, it was like, okay, we're all in this together. Let's all
we're not in this
quarantine.
together.
Now
we're
it's
separate.
like, hey, don't come near me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't eat. Like community's gone. It's just fear in the streets.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
completely separate. I'll tell you one of the craziest experiences that I've had in the last week is I live in a building, and when I get into that in the elevator,
wow.
and there's someone else in there,
What do you do?
Take the stairs.
I personally just keep my head down, try to stay out of the pathway of where their breath is going, and I just ride it out. But I'm just saying, of probably 12 elevator rides in the last week, there's probably been 2 where there was another person, and it is the most awkward because that person too is like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
and like, you're eyeballing the person, like, do they look like they travel a lot? Have they been to
Yeah.
Europe recently? Like, what type of person is this?
Yeah.
And it's so weird, like it's so crazy.
So I live only in a 4-story apartment building. So it's
Yep.
not a lot of people. And on my floor, there was a couple, they're probably in their 50s.
Yeah,
I was carrying Amazon boxes down to throw them out in the dumpster.
yeah.
And they saw me and they got terrified. And they were like, you go first, you go.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like-
it's
Yeah.
wild. It is so crazy.
And these are people that are typically friendly.
Yep.
Like I'm hi, hello.
It's something I never thought I would ever see.
I do distant waves. Hey.
Yeah, totally.
Hey.
And I gotta say too, some idiot at my building decided that he wanted to pretend like we were in Italy. and he's gonna bring frickin' Hollywood together, and
God.
started fucking DJing from his balcony.
Oh
Wait,
my
what?
God.
Yes, in my building. Okay, so this happened all weekend. So on
I
Saturday night,
hate those people who want to bring the community
Oh
together
my
through
God.
music.
This isn't the
he was
time.
trying to
worst.
do like the balcony.
They're the
get
worst.
everyone-
he was trying to
okay.
do the Italy thing,
Oh, got it.
playing
Now
like
I'm
fucking
understanding.
Flow Rida. Like that's not bringing anyone together. And then somebody from the building across the street had like disco ball lights. They started shining that on my building. So
God.
literally last night
Vomit.
at 11 p.m., I hear Flow Rida blasting because this guy's 2 units down from me. A shit ton of people talking because people are out on their balconies, and then disco ball lights coming in my window.
This is not Italy. We're in America.
but
Shut the
it's not
fuck up.
fucking
I saw
Italy.
you were partying with Deluxe.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Dude, the deluxe parties I'm really enjoying.
But Deluxe had a live. He was taking shots. He had a microphone rigged up, so it was like he was shouting you out in the club.
yeah.
Like,
I like
Drama,
that.
I see you. Drama just got here. I'm like, what? What's up?
Yeah,
mean, he
it felt
did
good
an-
when he shots you.
He
Yeah.
did an incredible job for Amanda's birthday. We had a blast.
Yeah,
He did a
yeah,
midnight,
yeah.
March 29th. Like,
Okay.
it was great.
He's
That's
good.
great.
Good for him. DJs are really thriving in
Every
this.
time I go in there, he
Except
just goes,
they're making no money.
True.
I get in, he goes, Pete's here. Well, Pete's a fucking idiot, so
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
And then he continues on. So
At
I
least you
stopped-
get a shout out.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
yeah.
you gotta-
No one would give a shit about your existence
You're
before
right.
you got here.
Yeah, baby steps.
So every
Trust
time
me,
I go in, I'm going, you
it
know.
took me probably 8 years to not be called an idiot in public everywhere I went.
Fuck
Put
me.
in
So
the
you're
work.
not even a year in.
And for the record, it still happens 50% of the time.
All right, so I'm just fucked for the rest of my life.
Okay, I want to talk to you guys about something in the news. I want to start off with something that's annoying to me, and I wonder where your guys' take is on it because we haven't talked about it. Bill Maher put out this video. He's sort of notorious for these like rants into the camera. He put out a video complaining about all of the kind of cancel culture, crybabies, being so up in arms about people calling this the Chinese virus or making any reference to China with this virus. His point, which I completely and totally agree with, is shut up. This thing did come from China. It's not racist. We're not saying Chinese Americans. We're not saying Chinese people in general. Nobody's saying go beat up a Chinese person. That's the
Yeah.
most ignorant shit in the world.
Yeah.
But so many viruses and plagues and those things in history have been named after where they came from.
Yeah, they said West Nile, and they used
Even
like
Ebola,
Yeah.
MERS. I didn't know MERS was Middle Eastern Respiratory
Yeah.
Syndrome. I didn't know it was Middle Eastern was
Yeah.
the ME. And also I got to say, like, it was China's handling of not only these wet markets, which were being called out for being a ticking time bomb for something like this, but also how they dealt with the initial outbreak that caused it to go so global. I think in all of this corona stuff, I thought like, oh, cancel culture and all the outrage people are just quiet because their news can't surpass the corona news. But it turns out they've all teamed up and this is their fight.
Yeah, I mean, you mean the fight being
It seems like the fight in like you don't hear about
Racism
like
is
Me
the fight?
Too. You don't hear about any of that stuff. You hear the biggest thing is outrage over the fact that anyone would call this the Chinese virus or refer to China. And I personally think it's the dumbest thing in the world. And I think that we have to be really careful not holding China accountable when this is all done. I think that's a huge mistake. I'm not saying go punch a fucking Chinese American, nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
Like racists are still going to be racist no matter what you do.
Yeah, and I think the other issue that he brought up is that if you look at, and Matt Belinsky, who was on the pod, mentioned this when it came to the World Health Organization, how China had them in their back pocket, and then the wet markets, which we've mentioned, are back and reopened.
Yep.
And so if the wet markets is truly the cause of the spread of this virus, and the fact that China does not even give two shits to shut them down.
Yep.
I mean, how big of a business is wet market? It can't be that big. It's not worth like, it's just more of like a pride fuck you issue to America.
Yep.
That we're not going to follow the rules. We're going to do whatever we want. And I think if we were just talking how there's no community, there's nothing to unite. And like, I think collectively as a global citizen, we can agree that China is at fault with this virus, the way they shared information, the way they handled the situation. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the equivalent of a war, and someone has to be blamed. They should be blamed, and there's fault to go around for American leadership, European leadership. But at the end of the day, we're all suffering, and I'm talking like we're suffering from a health perspective. So many people are going to die. So many people are going to lose their jobs. So many lives are going to be ruined, all because of a wet market in China.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's the question. Whether do we really believe it was a wet market? I know genetically it's been traced back to an animal, but that doesn't mean that could have been done with an animal in a lab.
Totally.
Yeah.
But either way,
Right.
it's China.
Right.
Either way, it's Wuhan. We know that.
Yeah, and I think it's almost irresponsible not to identify that. And if the data was so scary in China in end of December, early January, had they shut their airports down, had they told us, hey, this is going on here, we're going to stop travel to the U.S., we wouldn't be here.
Or stop travel anywhere. I mean, look
Europe,
what happened to Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think in hindsight, this was a really solvable problem, especially because China didn't shut the borders down and now they have it under control. Imagine if they shut the borders down, the whole world wouldn't have been affected.
What I don't get is for your average person, let's say driving down the road, if you get a text on your phone, you look down at it, someone's crossing the street, you kill them, you go to jail for a long time.
Yep.
Right? Doesn't matter that it was an accident. China's going to get out of this completely scot-free. And not only that, but Americans and other people are saying, no, don't be mean to them.
Yeah.
Don't call it the Chinese virus. That's not fair.
I've
it's like, what, you even if this wasn't a biological weapon or act of war, your complacency killed so many people.
Yeah, and I even see, in regards to cancel culture, I've seen a lot of people even complain about companies who are like, just going about their business, and maybe they made a step wrong or two along the way, or like even people that I saw on I read an advertising newsletter, they were talking about how you communicate during the Corona times. Yeah. And one of the comments was like, Taco Bell shouldn't have done free tacos on Tuesday or whatever. I'm like, they're giving away free freaking food. Yeah. Like, why are companies, I've seen more companies punished and spoken down about than I've seen down talking about China, which is insane. Like, companies are fighting for survival just to pay their employees and just keep some sort of existence. And I see, woke Twitter destroying those companies for doing anything. Yeah. And, God forbid they're trying to make money, but we'll save a country that is clearly, it's no secret. China and America don't get along. We were in a massive trade war for the last 12 months. And if you're counting score, we're losing.
Yeah.
But here's the problem is that it's a codependent. There's two countries that matter in the world now economically. It's China, it's the US. We're codependent. So Trump, who literally thrives on anti-immigration, fuck foreigners, even he backed down from calling it the China virus because he knows he can't play that game. Because if China told him, you keep calling this the China virus, here are the repercussions.
Yeah.
And he backed off. And this is the most anti-immigrant, anti-national, pro-nationalist guy we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he got scared. So how do you kind of reconcile those things?
It's just so wild to me that in this time of absolute devastation and crisis, people are complaining about the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
It's wild. Where are these people's jobs?
You know what we should complaining about? The last press conference when a reporter said, what metrics are you going to look at to decide when to reopen? And he pointed at his brain because these are the metrics. Like, what metrics are up there? Why don't we look at a graph? Why don't we look at a chart, an XY axis?
Nope.
Let's look at that.
Not when you got this.
No, you got one of those, you're good.
Orange brain up here.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Holy cow. Okay. And then Anand, what about, I heard that you had something you wanted to say about what's going on with the Fed and how this is all being treated.
So effectively in the last 2 to 3 weeks, the Federal Reserve and the U.S. government has told corporate America and the stock market that there will be unlimited money. Do not worry if you're issuing bonds, debt, whether you're high yield debt, junk bonds, whether you're AT&T, Verizon, the plumbing is clear and you will get funding. Mm-hmm. Do not worry. That is what has caused the stock market to rise in the last 7 days, up 30%, because they indicated blue chip corporate America, you're fine. Us small businesses, they still haven't
Yeah, we're fine.
They haven't talked to us, but the companies that represent the stock market, they've told you you're going to get unlimited funding. Your bonds are fine. Your bonds are going to be purchased. Your bonds are going to be purchased and backstopped by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
So you're unlimited capital until this thing is over.
Yeah.
What is that? That is socialism.
Yep.
So that's corporate socialism that the Republican administration is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they've always done it. They did it in 2000. You know, we've been doing it in every financial crisis. We bail out corporate America.
Agree. And this is at like an unprecedented level.
Yeah.
So my point is I myself on our podcast have shitted on Bernie this entire time.
Yep.
Do what he's doing. He wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was doing what the U.S. government has just done is the corporate version of what Bernie wants for individuals.
Yes.
So we've proven that issuing trillions of dollars of debt
Doesn't
does
matter.
not matter. So why aren't we giving money to people too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
there's no explanation. Like, where's AOC now? Where's Elizabeth Warren now? Do they not understand economics? Do we need to get them in like
I don't think so.
economy, like Econ 101, what
Yeah.
they've done?
I mean,
And you can make the argument.
so Elizabeth
right now,
Warren is making that argument.
but it's not loud enough. I
because
don't
she
hear-
doesn't have the voice. We don't give women a real voice in this country. You think she has a voice? I mean,
She
let's
had
be
a
honest.
voice when she was running.
more pop in Twitter, and then it would be fine.
Yeah, but she writes it. I follow her on Twitter. She writes it so eloquently and very smartly on how we are giving corporate socialism. Why don't we give healthcare for all? Why don't we give it? The problem is our country is on TikTok. Okay, so if you can't get your message across in 15 seconds, like it's all up here.
No,
Like,
so
that's-
here's the
we-
point. So forget. Okay, fine. Elizabeth Warren, she's writing it too articulately on Twitter to make sense. But Mitch McConnell is going to Trump's ear and saying, "Hey, you got to bail out AT&T and Verizon and
Yeah,
everyone."
but who can go in Trump's ear that's a liberal that has his nobody? They're probably not allowed in the Oval. Like no liberal.
I think this is like
it's
for
why-
that whole movement that has been bubbling for the last 4 to 6 years. This wealth inequality, individuals aren't participating, average Americans left out. This is your shot.
Yeah.
We're just proving money's unlimited. We should have given it to you back then.
Yeah.
Like that's actually the insulting part.
But I don't
Yeah.
think don't you think that when Nancy Pelosi and them were arguing with Trump over the stimulus package and stuff like that, don't you think that they probably fought for that stuff and just lost?
Well, yeah, I mean, they definitely fought for it. I mean, like Bernie and these people have been. Bernie Sanders has been screaming the same thing for 30 years.
But even from a Republican standpoint, even to protect. So what we've done is artificially inflated the stock market to go up 30% in the last 7 days. But guess what? When quarantine's over, and God knows when the consumer doesn't show up because we're all broke,
Yeah.
it's going to crater. So it's a two-sided equation. They've done one side, unclog the plumbing of the financial system, which was mandatory if you're going to shut the economy down.
Yep.
But the other side of the equation is put money in our pockets.
But what I'm saying is, don't you think that the Pelosi's and the AOC's and whatever are probably fighting for that like never before? It's just that Trump and the Republicans don't see that as...
And here,
Potentially, but if you're Republican and thought that was the right side, you're an idiot if you don't think you don't solve the other side of the equation.
Oh, yeah. I think that's your answer, though.
Right.
but
so
but they are
McConnell
idiot-
would
but
have
he-
to be like, oh yeah, we can't give 1,200 because guess what? Everyone's going to cancel their.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think they even think that way.
But they're not. This isn't about what's best for the country. This is what's best to get reelected. And the problem is that if it looks like they're giving welfare to America, then eventually the Democrats will be like, "Oh, you're already saying our language." Everyone's making a political move right now. This isn't what's best for the people of United States of America. We're not discussing welfare of people here. We don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit. It's the same way when you walk down the street, they don't want to see you. The politicians are not trying to help you.
I agree, but I'm just saying economically, they're only solving half the problem. And if you don't put the money in the individuals' pockets,
But that could
it's
ruin
gonna-
their party
it's gonna-
forever. They're better off. If I'm the head of the Republican Party, I would say, you know what? fuck the people. Who
But
cares?
the MAGA states are the people. That's the funny part.
But they don't.
Totally.
They don't disagree with them. They don't disagree. They're like, we're not going to be socialism. And by the way, this person's on welfare. By the way, this person got corona. Probably had a family member pass away, and they're brainwashed. It's too late. We have our own friends we're talking to this with that have a very distinct view on it, and like you can't.
But yeah, I just don't get in this time when the entire country, rich people, poor people, middle class people, are shut down. You're not earning what you were earning 3 weeks ago.
Totally.
Your stock market, I mean, fine, it's down a little, but still not where it was. What's the argument against just giving everyone money?
It's just not what they do. It's just fundamentally not what they do. And when Trump checks his data, which is right here, it's not coming up in there as needed.
The metrics aren't.
Yeah, all they
It's not
care,
adding up.
like, you know, that they're looking at the stock market right now, and they're like, this is working beautifully.
Yeah, what's funny is I studied finance in college, and everything you read in college or finance books is that you can't issue debt at this levels. It's going to clear the economy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to hear an economist tell me otherwise. Because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
The trillions in debt, we went from 24 trillion, we're going to be in the mid 30s when this is all done. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to go on and buy their clothes and go to fancy restaurants when the quarantine's up.
Yeah, if you just make it a cool 50 trillion, we'd all have healthcare.
Yeah.
We'd all get free
You
education.
could solve everything. What all this makes me angry is we could have solved healthcare for poor people. We have the option to do it,
And we
we're
choose
choosing not to.
Yes.
Totally, 100%.
Because it's not
So-
good for politics. If you start helping everybody, then it's the same reason, like
Fuck stagflation. I
mean,
want to
Trump-
tell me, I don't care who the smartest economist from our listener base, tell me what we're doing is going to impair us in the future.
That's what's so wild to me is Trump stands on stage and in the same press conference contradicts Dr. Fauci in the same room at the same time. He'll say one thing, and then Trump will say a totally different thing based by his own judgment. And you're contradicting the expert that you have in place to tell you what to do. So to me, that just explains so clearly why any economist or anyone that's going to say, hey, you know, here's something to look out for there. Nope.
Yep.
Not interested. This will do better at the press conference. Look at the stock market way up.
Because capitalism has turned into socialism for corporate America and just punishing individuals. It's all that's happening.
Totally. Yeah, it's bad. Okay. It sounds like there's a couple people quick that we wanted to shout out. So I think what's interesting is we started about 2 months ago saying, hey, if any of our listeners want to advertise on the pod, that's what we're going to do. Obviously, now is not the best time for that. But a couple of our listeners are doing some cool stuff, and there's some interesting things going on. I think we might as well fill that space with that.
Yeah, some interesting things. So Digital Mirage, which is looks like it was a music festival that happened online last week, raised $300,000 for musicians, like a musician relief fund. Because live events are down, because I'm sure people are not recording music, there's like this whole ecosystem, probably mainly in LA, that have been severely affected. So they raised $300,000 from live streaming music, which is amazing. So thank you for doing that.
One of the guys in the team is Joey Papautsis, if I say it correctly, and he's a group chat listener.
Great.
So he was a part of the team, reached out to me about it.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Well,
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think that there are, like, even though you can't walk down the street from someone running from you, there are things that are being done in the community that are helping people, which is amazing. And then also another a Kathy who owns a barbershop called the Edge Barbershop in Greenville, South Carolina, is doing a GoFundMe and asked if we could share it. So we'll make sure we'll post it and share it. They're out in South Carolina, small business. They're trying to reach a goal of $10,000. And I think it's important that we really look out for small businesses. With that being said, I have heard people actually got the PPP money over the weekend.
Really?
Actually in the bank account. Not just approved. Even some of our businesses are getting closer to approval, and we'll let you know when the actual money hits our account, but we're seeing some positive things with two of the brands at least. But I heard someone on Friday that actually got the money in their account. which is amazing. I even heard, I know there's a topic later down the line, is that stimulus $1,200 checks have already started going out as well. Yeah. So if any listener that has that, please screenshot and send it. I'd like to post it. Pete's checking his account.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're 1099, right? I don't know if you're going to get anything.
No, it's based on last year's.
Okay.
And last year I was not a 1099.
Okay. Last year you were unemployed, right?
No.
For 6 months?
No.
Okay.
If you file taxes, you get $1,200.
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
For 19 or 18?
19, and they said even if you haven't filed, this is actually kind of cool. Jack Dorsey set up something on the Cash App where you can file retroactively and get your $1,200.
Got it. Okay. So good. I mean, it sounds like there is money going out to small businesses, which is great. And I talked about this on Friday. The biggest challenge with the money going out to small businesses is that it has to go towards staff, which is awesome. The problem is unfortunately, like a barbershop in South Carolina probably cannot be open. So if she even gets money, is she allowed to stay open? I mean, like she has to pay her staff, but they can't come in and they can't operate.
It's just so funny to me. We give all these restrictions to small businesses on what they do with the money. But if you're a blue chip corporate Dow 30 company, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Buy your stock back, give your CEO a bonus. Who cares?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But God forbid a small little business.
God forbid.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, I think that was what somebody was complaining about, or not complaining about, but made a point to, is like, you're supposed to give it back to the employees, but what do you do if
You can't open.
Right. If you're not open, do you just give them a certain amount? Like, what do you do?
I mean,
well, yeah, you would just burn it right away, right? You would just pay everyone their full salary because you have to keep them on.
I mean, what if they're not salaried? What do you pay them?
Yeah.
like, no, everyone, you get some hourly, some projected.
Right. Yeah, you pay them whatever they were making. But then
Yeah.
it's gone. I mean, essentially, like if we got the loan and we paid everyone their salaries off of it, it's gone pretty much right away.
Yep.
So we need another one come June.
Yeah, it needs to be like times 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we're going.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? Speaking of the way we're going, somebody asked good old Fauci how he thought this would affect the election. He said that by November, we should be back to some idea of normal. So I don't even know. I mean, is that good news?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to reopen, election, corona. And one of the interesting, we're talking about it later, but I want to jump to it, is the U.S. Postal Service. Yep. U.S. Postal Service is on the brink of going out of business. I started doing some research on it. I looked at, and I'll get back to the normalcy comment, but the interesting thing is that if the U.S. Postal Service goes completely out of business, you can't vote by mail, which is very good for the Republican Party.
Yep.
Because generally speaking, voter suppression is real. If you don't understand that, look it up. History will show you we as a country have suppressed low-income minority votes because they like to vote left, and the Republicans have done a great job of suppressing that. But if the post office actually goes defunct this summer, which they're on the verge of, then we really are in a really, really tough place when it comes to voting by mail. The other, we'll get back to the post office, but what Fauci is saying that there will be some sort of normalcy come November. That's important, one, for the election. Two, it obviously gives some sort of hope. So I started looking at Spain. Spain has started talking about reopening April 25th as a potential date. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they've said is, what does society look like with a reopen? Because I think that's what's going to be what we look like. So if continue to work from home, if you don't have to go to the office, if you have to have people in your office, you rotate your staff. So some people will come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some people will come Tuesday, Thursday. That's restaurants at a certain capacity level. Public transportation, only, certain times of the day, certain people use, like trying to limit it. It is incredibly complex to do a slow reopen. And I mean, like, it's literally going to have to be, okay, how do you eventually let non-essential people out into the universe? Because unless there's a treatment or a vaccine, which we're confident that's not going to happen anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So,
treatment earlier than vaccine is what I would say.
Treatment could be the fall.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So if that happens, then I think people feel a little more comfort level with releasing people back into the wild. But like, I don't know what Fauci's done an incredible job, but like I don't know what he even means by that. I read the whole article, but it's not. He's being vague. Obviously, he doesn't know.
Yeah, at the pace we're going with the way society exists, it's structurally impossible to beat Donald Trump if this is the way the election's going to happen, because he knows, he's been tweeting like, oh my God, there's so voter mail by fraud. What's the fraud?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he knows if you allow that, he's more likely not to get it, because a low-income person can't take time off their job to go vote. And even though it's federally illegal to punish someone to go vote, if it takes 3 hours, their boss may just fire them with no recourse.
If it's him versus Joe Biden, Trump is our president for 4 more years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what else I saw that's funny is, Joe Rogan made that statement of I'd vote for Trump over Joe Biden. And he's been trying to clarify what he meant since then, because he's obviously gotten so much crazy shit. And he's saying I would vote for like The Rock over Joe Biden. I'd vote for literally anyone over Joe Biden is what I meant. But Donald Trump retweeted a video of him saying he would vote for Trump over Joe Biden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So his stuff has just been like nuts.
What's Joe Rogan? Who's he been interviewing recently?
Kind of random people. I mean, a scientist guy and like some random, nothing too crazy.
Got it.
Okay, how about this? Some cities are looking at closing off streets because they're not being used by cars, so that they can be used by people who want to exercise and go for walks and be able to stay more socially distant, so you don't have the problem that you've been having, Dee and Anand, of meeting people on the sidewalk and having this weird game of chicken.
I love this.
I love
think
it.
I've always been a very big walker in LA for the last, since I've lived in this neighborhood, which is like 18 years now. Mm-hmm. And I love using public space. I take advantage of it. I think it's fantastic. And I think we've all now learned to lean on it as a way of transportation and a way of getting outside and exercise. And given that like this is going to take some serious time, Oakland has already done it. They're taking 10% of their street space and allowing people to use for bikes and walking. Mm-hmm. And I have a friend, Michael Schneider, who I went to college with, that is like, he bikes everywhere. He bikes to the airport, he bikes everything. And he always complains about how it's not a biker-friendly city.
It's super dangerous.
Yeah, and
we used to bike.
Yeah, and
it was so bad.
It was the scariest thing ever. Even New York City, not a safe place to bike. These are all places that are just unfortunately not pedestrian and biker-friendly. We have an enormous, of all the horror that's coming out of these things, there's an enormous opportunity in a lot of different, there's opportunity in business, there's opportunity. Urban landscape to me is an enormous opportunity. I have always been a believer in a city like LA or New York City, like, let's create more walking space. Let's create more bike space. I don't care what anyone says. Until there's a complete 100% vaccine, people are just not going to be taking public transportation, hopping in Ubers. They're going to be scared, right? Not to the level they used to. So that means there's just going to be less cars on the road. With that being said, yes, there's some people, because of the where they work, they have no choice. They have to take those modes. For some of us, we don't need to. If there was a dedicated, protected bike lane, walking path to and from our office, I would take it all day.
And think about how cool is it when, what did LA do, the bike thing on Sundays once a month? We used to do that.
That wasn't once a month, Cyclovia.
Oh, yeah.
That was super cool.
Yeah, they still do that like yearly, I think.
Yeah, they do it in different parts of the city where they block out and you bike.
Yeah.
And I think that these are the positive things, is that we've become this city that's congested with traffic on an unprecedented level. We're going to see people travel less for work, travel less, and maybe this sense of community will happen again, where we do walk to places, we do bike to places. I mean, I would walk around and bike before all this, or walk and run all over, and I would be the only one on the street most of the time. Yeah. Wouldn't see anybody, and I'm walking on like Sunset. It's like,
But what happens even post-vaccine? Isn't there going to be fear that the next virus is coming?
Nah, we'll forget.
Everyone forgets?
Everyone forgets.
Yeah, I think that it impacts maybe slightly long. Like, think about this. TSA has never reduced restrictions since 9/11.
Right.
Like it has made you genuinely a little bit more scared, a lot of people, a little bit more scared to fly because now they're worried about a plane being hijacked that's permanently in your brains. I do think that exists on some level.
Yeah.
I don't think normal. I think what we looked at as normal is gone.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Right?
So like 80%?
80%. I would compare it to flying in a plane. I mean, I think still, if people see, I hate to say this, a lot of people see a Middle Eastern person get onto an airplane. A lot of people still get weirded out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Especially people like from where I'm from and people that don't see a lot of different ethnicities.
Yeah.
You know,
Middle
they're like-
America
Pete's like,
doesn't
yeah.
know about that.
I mean, people
they're
from where
more
I'm
afraid
from.
of an Indian person with a
Yes.
turban than a Middle Eastern person because they don't know the difference.
Exactly. That still exists.
you are all the same to us.
That still really exists.
You
I think
towel
like
heads.
handshaking strangers could be affected forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
agree.
interesting. And the other thing that I'm seeing that's insane, already bubbling, and this is definitely going to happen, because you guys were talking about vaccine, there are already people saying, let me tell you one thing. When they release that vaccine, do not take it. You are out of your mind.
I'll be the first person. Just like stab me
First in
with
line.
6 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
case.
I want every option.
I'm gonna put him on blast. Eric Deluxe said he's not gonna take the vaccine.
Oh my
He's
God.
and then it went into a whole thing when we were on it. We did a live together, and then he's like, "I take the vaccine," and then all these other DJs, maybe DJs think they have herd
They're
immunity.
the most. Maybe they either do because of the
maybe they do.
disgusting job they've been doing for the last 15 years.
They're just dapping up everyone. They're like, "I'm alive," and I'm shaking every
sharing
disgusting
liquor bottles
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
everything.
Traveling.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean, if anybody should get vaccinated, it'd be DJs.
So
you guys interact with more
I
people.
actually had this conversation with Anthony this morning, and I'm curious what your opinions are. So, pre-vaccine, and it might be post-vaccine. Who knows how international countries are going to deal with COVID? What I read, Hong Kong. I don't know if this is today or it's going to be in the near future when they expose travel. This is how it's going to operate. You land, you get pricked. In a few minutes, you get told whether you have COVID or not. And if you do, boom, 14 days in a Hong Kong hospital. So what if you're asymptomatic and you have it? Are you going to risk... Yeah, Taylor. Are you going to risk traveling internationally?
No.
I don't think I'm leaving.
No. You know, globalization, it's over.
Yeah,
You stay in your country, you stay in your neighborhood, you don't see... You know how people never saw the world? You're never seeing the world again.
Yeah, the risk of like being in an international hospital where you don't have your own doctors, the people that you trust as your physicians, dictating whether you get to be released or not.
Yeah.
The one thing that seems really promising is if you can properly test really quickly for antibodies, and if it is proven that the antibodies protect you from it coming back, and that is some sort of
Pass.
pass.
Right.
But how many people
like
have that?
that's what like the whole Silicon Valley guys, they're all saying like test everyone, anybody, you have a card on your head that says green, red, blue, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No.
Right? No. It's going to be the more brute way. You land in a country, fuck you, go to the hospital.
Yeah. And other countries are going to do it. We can't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I might never travel. I wasn't a big traveler anyway. I might never see the world.
Yeah. I was literally, we were watching some movie yesterday and I go to my wife and I'm like, man, I'm glad we got to see everything because we may never see anything again.
I'm hovering around 30, 31 countries I've been to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I did it.
You did it. It's
I got what, 2?
check the box and keep it moving.
Damn it.
And
man.
I got to do it without kids.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, you're right. Damn it, I messed up. I really played this wrong. Shit. Okay, the other thing is Texas. It looks like Texas is already talking about easing restrictions and lockdowns and whatever. They're trying to get back to normalcy. I think there's this really dangerous thing happening where, you know, a lot of governors, a lot of people held out super hard anyway on a lockdown, and now a lot of them are getting real amped up to get back to work a little quick. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see Texas be like a new Louisiana or something like that because a over giddy governor is going to say, fuck that. You can take anything, but not our economy. We're the 11th largest economy in the world.
Yeah, and I think this is where people don't understand that governors have more power in their state over the president does. And these kind of southern governors who really kind of pander to Trump, like they're if they're playing their political cards right, they're probably better just opening the fucking state up and let the shit show continue.
So the political pickle that all these governors are going to be in is, and it leads to the advantage of California and New York, who have Democratic governors. Trump is basically antagonizing the whole country. Open up, open up, open up. It's up to the governors to decide what to do. California and New York can say no.
Yeah.
Their states don't follow Trump. They don't respect him. They
Yeah.
don't listen to him.
Yep.
But the red states, unfortunately, all love Trump. They're like, Trump said open up.
Yeah.
Governor.
Yeah.
Open
Governor.
up.
Come on, Governor.
Governor.
Come on, governor. And then they're just going to
not-
die.
Yeah.
Yes. I wish you could just, it's like if you open up, fine, do whatever you do, but no travel in and out of your state.
That's the problem.
I wish you could do that because now Texas is going to open up and then people are going to start traveling.
Yeah, Taylor's going to be on 6th Street in Austin.
Yeah.
Taylor's
South by Southwest in June. We'll see the
Yeah.
video. And then these
He's
idiots.
coming back to the freaking Palazzo and killed 15.
Yes, especially the Palazzo. Power's out. Taylor killed 7 people.
You know what will happen if governors start opening up pre-comfort level? I guarantee you, states like California will say, you know what, no one from other states can come. It will be a civil war.
Yeah, that's. I think it kind of has to be.
Yeah, I'm down for
because I
that.
don't trust these states. And then let's just pull up one of the articles from down below what Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott are doing in Texas.
These idiots.
I mean,
are
that's what
partying.
Pete's doing. That's why I put that article in there.
I'm not partying.
Yeah, but no one gives a shit about what Pete's
so
doing. In
explain-
Texas,
Yeah.
everyone's watching Dak, and they're like, "Oh shit, let's have our party."
So explain
Yeah.
what just happened.
Ezekiel Elliott and
Thanks for
Dak
the
Prescott,
defense.
obviously two
Thanks for the
huge
defense.
two huge NFL stars, are having a little get together.
A big get together.
Yeah,
That thing looked like it was cracking.
and they had their chicas with them.
They had
They
their
had
gays.
catering. They had
You can't tell me these pro athletes all over the world are not. You can't tell me they're not having women over
Well-
and having friends over and
Oh, they
doing.
are.
forget
I
just
mean,
pro athletes. Everybody
well,
is.
yes, but I think they're doing it more than
I think
anybody
But they
else.
also
in
know that they're going to
volumes.
end up like Kevin Durant and like have a sniffly nose because
Yeah.
they're freaking
Peak athletes.
one in a
yeah.
million athletes.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, "Oh, sorry, Grandma."
Yeah, and then Zeke's cousin, poor kid, is gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
For real.
That is.
And these, because they don't realize, like, I think the reckless thing about young people, because I do see a lot of young people like hanging out together all the time, is that you do still interact. You end up interacting with normal people. You go to the grocery store, and that poor old man that's been working at Bristol Farms for 50 years is going to get corona
Or the
and
poor
fucking die.
the 55-year-old that's delivering Pete's Postmates
Yeah.
checks out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
don't
Pete
order
was-
Postmates.
Well, you get food, right? How do you get your food?
You
I'm
ain't
not
cooking.
talking about it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
yeah, that's
I-
what's so fucked up about it. It's funny because all these other generations have talked about like what they had to do for their, there was a guy on Rogan's podcast that was saying that his grandfather was in the Russian army in World War II. And essentially his job was you go be a human barricade to just slow down the German army.
Right.
And all of his uncles died except for his grandfather or all of his whatever. We have to fucking sit on a goddamn couch and chill out, and people
Right.
cannot do it.
Right.
Definitely.
Not
capable.
Zeke. Zeke's got to eat.
Zeke's gotta eat,
Yeah.
man. Damn it.
And it's like so reckless when the real problem is I know
Turn up your phone.
I know young people
Yeah.
are like doing this. It's no secret.
Yeah.
Young people are having their house parties and they're partying. Zeke and Dak. I know how celebrities do their parties. The ones that actually they check cell phones at the door.
Yeah, come on.
Like
Bare
you're-
minimum.
Right? Check your cell phones at the door because guess what? In Texas, or forget it, nationwide, you see Zeke and Dak partying. The people that were borderline, like, wait, should I go see my friends or not? They're
Yep.
like,
Fuck
fuck
it.
it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
How soon before like underground parties start getting thrown?
They're going on right now.
They're already happening.
I mean,
they're
if
happening.
Zeke and Dak are
Okay,
partying,
we just had a discussion
Pete's like
about
trying
this.
He's like,
be
do you know
defend-
anyone who's throwing them?
Pete, it's a leading question. He's like, last night I had 50 people.
Yeah. Damn, we're surrounded by carriers, man.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That whole
Carrier
young
chat.
workforce.
Okay, so here's the other quick thing. Obviously, there's a lot of articles about the fact that Trump, had a lot of warnings. I feel like everyone had a lot of warnings. So, like we talked about with Belinsky, we can, on one hand, China was super late. China kept information, all that stuff. That is true. But we still didn't react even when we got it. And that's why, like, I only put part of the blame on China, because even if they had released all the real information back in January, we probably would have ignored it.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's just, you know, history on the internet, and when everything is recorded, doesn't age well for people who went the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing debate, and you're going to keep seeing it show up on cable news and podcasts, and ultimately, better or worse, Trump's our president. He has, you know.
I think we know it's worse.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say for
worse.
better.
Yeah.
Some people think better.
Here's the other thing, though, that's
Had a
interesting.
record week in the stock market when we had record unemployment. Who else can do that?
The Donald.
The Donald.
A fucking con artist. The other thing that's really interesting, though, that I just have to point out is I feel like CNN and all these different people are like dogpiling on Trump. They did it too.
Yeah.
If you look back at their reporting back in January, even if you look at Governor Cuomo and you look at all these different people, they said, don't let this fear keep you inside. Go out. Go support Chinatown.
Right.
Go, you know, go live your
Go
life.
eat a bat.
Go eat a bat.
Go watch Batman.
Watch Batman. It's a
Oh
good
my
movie.
gosh. So
No, but-
everyone's guilty. I mean, Trump is obviously it's his responsibility at the end of the day, but like everyone fucked up here.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
I
So-
told everyone it was the flu. Let's all chill out. Anand was the only one ringing the proper
I was-
bell in here.
No, but here's the issue. Why Trump gets the pylon now is because he showed, and look, President Obama missed a lot of things in his presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Like something that no one talks about and probably never will, given that we had Trump and COVID and this, is he expanded the drone program more than any president in the history of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bombing hospitals and schools, and
Yeah.
no one even talked about that.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. If you do public press conferences, show empathy, that's part of leadership. Like, I'm not criticizing Obama, I'm just saying he made mistakes.
Yeah.
And Trump has made a mistake. And if he didn't mock it, if he showed empathy, if he doesn't mock everyone in his press conference, berating news reporters,
example-
then people would be like, look, I get it. You made the wrong decision. I know
It's
it
the
costs
best
less.
example.
Yeah.
Forget Obama. George Bush, blithering idiot of a president,
Yeah.
got us into the worst war, trillions of dollars lost. But he showed empathy.
Yeah.
Like
He passed the candy to Michelle Obama, and everyone forgot about their rock war.
It's true. It's true.
and
That one
but-
little freaking sweet tart or whatever.
But like, put it like this: if you think about 9/11, remember when George Bush went to Ground Zero, gave his famous speech? Trump hasn't even had that moment yet.
No, he doesn't have that in him, I don't think.
He literally has. I've been watching these press conferences where he comes out and says, "Fuck it, like I'm gonna be a leader,"
Yep.
and he's incapable.
Yeah, because he doesn't have empathy.
No, he does not.
not give a shit if people are dying or not.
No.
And he mocks like the woman who had the fever. It's just insane.
Yeah.
This is why you can pile on, because you have someone that's literally telling you, I don't give a fuck about anything that's going on. Give me my stock market, give me my ratings.
Yeah.
But think about this. We already knew that some version of this was going to happen, but the coronavirus has caused it to be way worse than we could have ever imagined. My question is, what does this country look like in a year, 2 years, when the working class has been absolutely decimated? The gap between the wealthy and the low income is the biggest in history. We just saw bailing out the bankers in the banking crisis times 20.
Yep.
Where does that put the level? And then our leader through all of it is Donald Trump. And you never get that moment of hope or whatever. I feel like it turns our country into a fucking Royal Rumble of just like, fuck it. No one respects shit. Everyone's broke, but these guys are really, really rich.
Yep.
There's no rules. No one looks out for you. Like, what? I just worry about the mentality.
Yeah, it's not going to be like America's always been this incredible place because there was a middle class. Like if there was no middle class, America would not be what it is. It actually is a place where anyone can make it. And unfortunately, China is actually becoming that. China actually has a middle class now. China replicated all the best things of America, and then all the stuff we're weak at because of communism, they're able to just wash over.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we're just, there's two political parties that fight that just care about power and not care about the people. And then unfortunately, the one guy that actually cares about everyone can't get elected, which is Bernie. He's a lunatic.
Yeah. Now, honestly, Bernie, if he had just changed his whole
toned it down a little.
No, forget it. I actually am flipping it. What he should have done is I'm giving all the people money and all the corporations money because it doesn't matter.
This is where
yeah, but that's not in him. That's not in his blood. Same way Trump can't help show empathy. Bernie can't help a billionaire.
But you got to play ball, man.
He doesn't want to.
We know this from business, right? A lot of situations we've been in, it's really hard to bite your tongue and go do what you got to do. You got to do it.
I know, but these guys, their egos are too big.
I actually think it's stupid that Bernie, cut his campaign a week ago. Like, this was your shot.
I agree. He should not have given up.
You should be like, you just bail out the corporations. Here are all the people. Let's do both.
But how did these fucking idiots decide that Joe Biden's going to be your guy?
I don't know. And Obama being silent makes me think that something else is happening behind closed doors.
Like they're preparing for someone else.
No, but
that's my.
I just can't believe
mine
Obama's
is.
not
I don't
saying
see Joe Biden going to be on the ballot in November.
You just don't see it.
I think powers that be.
Someone else is going to come out of nowhere.
Yes, and I think they're going to.
I agree with
Obama.
that.
I said this on Friday. Obama's going to sit Sleepy Joe down.
No,
he's going to be taking a nap. He's going to be taking a nap, and he's like, Joe.
No, this is
you're
how
going to tell
works.
everyone you get
this
corona, and that's it.
Let's be clear. Who runs the Democratic Party? It's Barack Obama. It's Jeffrey Katzenberg.
David Geffen.
It's a handful of other folks. They decide where the money goes.
Well, what the fuck are they doing? Can you ask?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing.
Town.
Like, how the Koch brothers ran or Robert Mercer. These people.
There's
on the Republican.
private calls going on. Like, okay, this isn't going to work.
I think the Democrats should hire Steve Bannon. He's an incredible job.
Anyone, literally anyone. I don't care. I literally don't care. Take fucking Mark Cuban at this point. He's made some good points lately on Fox.
I think Mark Cuban's done a great job.
Give it to him. My one thing that I just want to double down on what you said, D, is to me, not to be cheesy here, but what the one thing that makes America great is the feeling that anyone can come here and make their dreams come true.
Yeah.
And I think that we right now are really at risk of that no longer being believable fundamentally. And I think that when you do that, what are you left with as a country? So what do we stand for? We're a country that, hey, if you're rich, come here and we'll look out for you? Or like, what is it? I don't know. Where the foundation of what your whole thing is gone.
Yeah, and I think just to add to what you said, which I completely agree with, is what I kind of like joked about in the beginning of the pod about like being in my neighborhood and people are scared and darting across the street. Like, that's just the first step.
Yep.
As this continues, it's every man for themselves.
Yep.
The United States is a melting pot. It's people from all different countries, different religions, cultures, and everyone lives harmoniously together for the most part, absent like some hate crimes, right?
Yep.
But for the most part, communities are fine. That's gone as of right now.
And that's what I'm saying is the same way that ignorant people, when a Middle Eastern or even an Indian person, literally anyone with dark skin, gets onto an airplane, get legitimately scared in their bones.
Yep.
What happens when you get a little bit of that about everyone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you feel just a little more uneasy about that person. I mean, can you imagine sitting in a middle seat in coach on an airplane ever now?
No.
Like people won't
I mean,
be
I
able
couldn't
to do
see it before that.
I'm just saying, people will not be able to do it. Like it'll take years for someone to take that. I mean, obviously there's always people that will, but I'm just saying like that'll be affected.
And you know what's crazy is I think I looked at myself as like an anti-germaphobe.
Yeah.
Like I I washed my hands.
Yeah, me too.
And I just didn't care about
Remember we argued with Eric about this.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't get really that sick, knock on wood, hopefully, but like,
Thank you.
I didn't care. Now I'm even paranoid about like the littlest things. Yeah. And this is like, I'm not the guy who boarded a plane and wiped off my seat. Right.
Here's the caveat. Caveat. I agree with all these things. I think there's going to be economic destruction like we've never seen. I think it's going to last a few years, but the vaccine's going to come, and we're all going to forget. And the economic destruction, the beauty of this country still is there are incredible entrepreneurs that will create businesses that will employ people. Like sewing factories in LA are all open to make masks and medical protective equipment. So that industry, which is effectively dead, has been brought back to life because of Corona. So I agree. We're just a very put the politicians aside because they're idiots. People in America are so opportunistic and entrepreneurial that we create industries. We create things out of thin air that create jobs and create hope and create. So I am optimistic that once there is a vaccine and there's some comfort level of you know what, fuck it, I'll take that middle seat, coach. Then the engines will start going in people's heads and we'll create businesses and we'll create opportunities and things will go back to some set of normal kind of life. But there's going to be, unfortunately, undo the pain that we're about to go through is impossible. We're going to just go through it. We just have to deal with it.
It just gets me because I know people very well, relatives, friends from where I grew up that never recovered economically or mentally from 2008.
Yeah.
Yep.
They gave up. And it was you know what? I don't have a shot anyway. I'm not one of them. I'm going to give up. Yeah. And I just feel they never recover from that. You're going to hit them with this. Their parents it's kids that just graduated college or maybe didn't even go to college whose parents are telling them, no one gives a fuck about you. You have no chance here. It's when the message starts to change to you have no chance because you're not one of them, you just lose a little bit of the thing, the magic. And you're going to have all these damn anti-vaxxers around. I'll take your seat. And you're fuck you, guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Good news. At least someone's still in business and it looks like Think Jinx is and they still got a budget.
They're killing it.
Because we got an ad.
Yeah.
Let's read it.
Guys, we're back, and I've never been more excited about Think Jinx, the only company that still has money around here. But lucky for us, they're back. How many more reads are we going to give them? 100? I don't know. It's like $2 at this point. Lucky for us, Think Jinx is working with a team of experts with 100+ combined years of experience. That's a lot of experience, and I'm not making this shit up anymore. They cooked up new recipes made for our pups' evolved lifestyles. My dog's evolving every single day. I want my food to evolve with it.
Next one. Next paragraph.
Okay. Think Jinx new kibble recipe includes high-quality proteins such as organic chicken, over 20 superfoods. I don't even eat this healthy. But I want my dog to eat this healthy. And patent probiotics for gut health.
I mean,
this is incredible.
There's no doubt in my mind that this particular dog is eating better than Pete.
100% factual. And I think Pete used the promo code just in case times get tough.
Yeah.
And he's going to stock up on some salmon.
During quarantine, who's eating this healthy?
Who?
Just a little Rover.
There's no way Pete has gotten sweet potato served to him.
I'm on chicken nuggets and I don't even know.
Chicken and mango.
He's doing some frozen pizza I've seen in the office.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind a human version of Think Jinx. These are all stuff that I like. Sweet potato, eggs, ginger avocado.
Hey, if the economy gets bad enough, the human version might be Think Jinx.
Yeah.
And this is probably cheaper than your $20 salad you're paying for at Sweet Green. Oh. You're getting all this right here.
I like that.
And delivered right to my front door.
So where can you find them? Where can you find them, Pete?
You can head over to thinkjinx.com and use the promo code GROUPCHAT.
What do you get for that code?
Well, you get $5 off. You get 20.
Okay, start over.
Okay.
What do you get for that code?
You get 20% off your order over at thinksjinx.com.
Can you spell it? Because you keep saying Think Jinx. Can you spell it?
Well, it's quite of a tongue twister. Thinkjinx.com. That's THINKJINX.com. Promo code GROUPCHAT.
Because you keep saying Thinks Jinx.
Yeah. Well, because it's jinxy thinksy,
Okay, relax with the racial slurs.
Pete's new to the, being an ad broadcaster voice.
No,
but that was good.
This is my calling now.
Right,
people have said I have a real voice for ads.
I agree. Our sales have been through the roof, and I think it's probably because of your ads. Yeah.
I did get a call that someone found you very annoying.
Well, that one person can go fuck themselves because 20 others messaged in and said I should get a raise because it was so good.
I got a text that said Pete's got to go.
Don't make me go. I got nowhere to go. I don't want to go back home.
Okay. Well, there
Guys,
it is.
keep me employed. Go over to thinkjinx.com.
Thank you.
Promo code GROUPCHAT.
Okay. Let's get back into it, guys. Okay, we're back. Thank you, Think Jinx. Okay, how about the fact that obviously movie theaters are completely shut down. I think they made $5,000 in the whatever last month. So of course,
You know, it'd be funny if that number was up from 5 to like 8.
Texas is booming. So obviously, all of these massive studios with all these releases planned and all this stuff are trying to figure out a way around that. One of the biggest ways, which seems like it could work, is just going straight to streaming. What do you guys think? It looks like they're going to do that, or they did it with Trolls World Tour. They did it, or they're going to do it?
They did it. So it came out this weekend.
Okay.
And what's funny is like a few months ago, or maybe a month ago, I think we let our Dom watch kind of in 20, 30-minute increments of television or movies, and we showed him Trolls, and I think he liked it. And then so we attempted to try to show it to him, and he was like, I don't want to watch that. So, but he wanted to watch like Thomas the Train or something. And
You do Daniel the Tiger?
Blippi.
That's what we're doing.
yeah, he's over Daniel.
Maybe just show them Tiger King. Like, let me really blow your mind.
I tried to show him Onward, which is a Disney thing, and he kind of got scared. So I was like, all right, we'll chill on the PG movies.
Yep.
And so anyways, we go to Trolls, we go to rent it, watch it. And it was $19.99, and it was renting it. And I was like, $19.99?
Yeah, you went on your rant. You're not allowed to do that.
What?
You said that on the last podcast.
What?
You said, I'm not paying $19.99 for shit.
Yes, I said that.
Yeah.
I'm just reiterating when I
then
saw
you
the
did it.
Trolls.
But you did it?
No, I didn't. I didn't do it. I couldn't get myself to do it. I wanted to. I just couldn't do it.
Not even for your own
And
kid.
then
This guy's buying $18 lattes.
He's like, kid, you want to watch a movie? It's too fucking bad.
So ironically, I post this on Instagram. I get 17 links DM me so I can watch it illegally. Because so apparently that's a thing. That's pretty easy.
That's a big
huge
thing.
thing.
Yeah. And I did
Just
get a lot
know you're giving the same information Bezos give to MBS when you click on that free link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward. Obviously, a lot of people did watch it this weekend, and I'm joking. If my son wanted to watch it, we would have watched it. But I'm trying to understand. Maybe not.
I'm a good guy, guys. Listen.
Okay.
For the
Not an
purpose of the
asshole.
podcast, you can't let him
Okay.
for 20
He'll
bucks.
never see it again. Trolls will be deleted off our house. It's $19.99. You get to rent it for 48 hours. That's the rule. This movie costs $100 million to make, and God knows what they spent on marketing. So in order to replicate what they would normally do, I think it did $360 million when it came out the first time around. To replicate, and that includes all
I can't
revenue.
wait to hear this number.
What?
You're going to tell us the number of people.
No, I
that
can't. I
buy-
can't find the info yet. But it's $20. Do we think 1 million households rented it?
Zero chance.
You don't even think 1 million households did it?
Yes, I think a million.
Million households, not 1 million people. Million households.
Yeah, because one household is 4 people.
Yeah.
I don't
These
think
kids
in
need
these
something
times,
to watch,
man,
and
but
these parents are desperate.
That's
for
a million is a
anything
lot
But
of.
think about everything you have on Disney Plus for that kid to watch.
I know, but
You got
second,
to
you
hold
get
up
them
on
hyped about
control.
something.
D makes good money. D has a good life. He looks at 20 and says, "That's fucking ridiculous."
They're
What do
not
you
in this
think?
recession.
I mean, my nieces are watching it.
No, but here,
Yeah, they were
I
hyped up
think
about it.
to your broader point is that the movie industry and TV industry as we know it, sorry, A-list actors, you're not getting that check anymore. Budgets are done. It's not going to be replicated like the good old days, maybe for 5 more years. Because the amount of pain that studios and production companies are going through right now, they're not reopening and giving that $20 million a movie, $30 million a movie.
So
It's not
that's
happening.
my point, is that to replicate $360 million of revenue. So that obviously also comes from licensing and toys. And let's say that stuff stays flat, to actually get box office revenue, to get like a $50 million opening weekend. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to hear the stats on how many people did this, but like to do $50 million this weekend, 2.5 million households would have had to rent it.
Impossible.
I just don't believe
It's
that.
not even possible. With the options of Netflix and everything, no one's
Yeah.
paying $20 for this when you already have built-in costs with all your other subscription services.
Yeah, and so the idea of going to a movie, at least it's an outing.
Yeah, it's 4 hours.
Yeah, so at least you're parking, you're doing this, you're getting popcorn. Economically it makes no sense, but the way you have to think about it is when you have the option of pressing a button at home that costs you $20 and you don't want to spend the money. I think the movie industry is going to have this enormous shift. It's one of the industries that I think is going to change forever because the cost of making content for traditional theaters has to go down.
By a lot.
Because if Trolls cost $20 million to make, I would say it's going to kill it over the next 6 months to generate $50 million.
But even go to the next effect. When are people going to be comfortable, vaccine or not, to sit next to a random stranger in a movie theater?
When you don't have to. When the options this is the other thing, the options at home are so good and people are being trained the same way we're being trained that you can work from home indeed when you thought it was impossible. You're being trained that low budget content's pretty damn good.
Yeah, box office revenues are going to crater. Yeah. Even if we reopen society July 1, June 1, whatever. What if 6 months from now the curve is way down? I'm not sitting in a movie theater with like 300 other people.
Bob Iger knew.
Bob Iger knew, I'm telling you, man.
I don't know if you listened to the last pod, but we were talking about Bob Iger and how he knew. We talked about how he knew. And the reason why they put the park CEO is because that's going to be the biggest crisis.
Yeah.
Because I
kept saying I can't believe they didn't find a tech guy.
And that guy wouldn't have a job anyway by the time.
And my feeling is, I will trust that society is back to normal when Disneyland is open.
Yeah, but Disneyland was late.
I know, but that's probably because political pressure to keep open. But like, I have a feeling that will be the sign, okay, that there's some normalcy in life. There'll be, some shit bag water park in Texas that's going to open.
Open. Never closed.
For Memorial Day weekend.
Some sort of Raging Waters type thing. Yeah.
But like, I just think that there's going to be these leading indicators and when things are going to open back, and I think that will be one of them. But broader picture, I think the Trolls, I need to see the numbers for Trolls because I think that dictates the future of the entertainment industry when it comes to movies. So the beautiful thing about the television world, which is the Netflix, your Apple TVs, your Amazon, these are backed by companies that don't need to make money doing this. So it is extremely inflated on what these people get paid, how much this content costs, and they don't give a shit.
Yep.
Flip side, movie business has to make money.
Yep.
Unless it's a Netflix movie, which they don't give two shits about.
Yeah, so I mean, it just trickles down from the actors, the producers, to the writers. Budgets are going to be a fraction. There's no box office revenue. This $20 game that they're trying to play with new releases isn't going to work at scale. Sure, it'll work for some. Like, you're never going to discover movies at $20.
You know who I just started feeling really bad for because it really has it probably bad in this Corona economy? The Rock.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The Rock's toast.
But he's already
because
made
his movies are like
highest
they were already on the fringe of like uselessness, and now it's like
talk about useless spending in this new market.
It's a Rock.
It's The Rock.
Yeah,
it's that salary you paid him.
Yeah.
I hope he saved his money.
Yeah, me too, man.
I mean, what does he need? Supplements and some weights?
He does his weights all day. And
Yeah. Okay. Last thing before we get on to Millennial Word Monday. I just want we kind of mentioned it, but a quick, everyone, especially once again, these are my most hated people through all of this, more than the wet markets in Wuhan, is the fucking TikTok investor teacher. Woo. And everyone is going nuts because they knew it. They got in at the bottom and the stock market is up. Biggest gain since 1902. We're just, holy cow, we're good. Can you guys quickly explain what is happening? Why have we gained half of what we lost? To me, this looks like you're just really setting yourself up for the real dive and people are just going to get smacked again. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think when this whole thing started, I was adamant that I thought this was going to cause a recession. And we're in one right now. And the stock market is not reflecting economic status. The stock market is, for people that aren't, very familiar with it, the stock market volume day to day is manipulated by fund traders that have options and they're just manipulating stocks for their own benefit. And the same way, like they'll buy call options, which means they think a stock is going to go up, and then they'll buy the stock to raise the price of the stock. And then on the way up, they'll start buying put options, dump all the stock and make money on the way bottom. So it's like they're manipulating. The volume is showing that it's being manipulated. Big retirement funds and traditional ETFs and mutual funds, they're not selling anything. Like your average 401k investor, take our parents who have took the stand, they're not selling anything. I think that's a good example that like they're not dumping stocks in the stock market. They're just like, it's in our retirement account. We're going to keep it. We don't want to play the cap gains. We're happy with it. We know we feel long-term, we're going to be fine. And I think right now what's happening is really, really, really scary because, I mean, the stock market is going to crater. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They can manipulate it up to a record high and it will crater back down. Because just do common sense. I think I used this example before. We had a business partner investor years ago that was not too sophisticated of a person. But he came to me one day, this is 2007, and he goes, bro, nobody's buying cars. Nobody's buying houses. This whole thing's about to fall apart. That simple concept.
He was the Big Short.
He was Big Short, right?
Michael Burry.
Yeah. But fast forward, what his point was, you can tell by the consumer that the world's about to fall apart.
And it's even more obvious. You can't even buy anything if you want to.
You literally can't. Like my car, the key battery on my car died, so I have to manually open it. I know, big problem. But my point is, I can't simply go get a new key for my car.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest
Like,
thing.
it's the dumbest thing in the world.
I mean, I think I'm clearly not young anymore. I'm 36, so I've lived enough. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't make sense. And like everyone who's out there that's looking for stock or investment advice, my advice is stay away. Like this thing is not meant for you and I.
Yeah.
This is a scam.
It's a rigged game, and if you try to play the timing, you're going to get smoked either way. If you're going to get smoked if you're short, you're going to get smoked if you're long. This is manipulated by guys way bigger with
way above our pay
billions
grade
of dollars and they will decide when it goes down and they will decide when it goes up.
and it's not going to reflect the status. I mean,
Because right now, what D basically is saying is that the stock market was up 26% in the last 5 days. It's only down 15, 16% from highs, which were inflated highs. The underlying asset, which is the actual business, right, which is all the companies that reflect airlines, hotels, internet companies, their businesses have come to a screeching halt, yet their stock goes up. Someone smarter than us, please explain that to me.
I think you guys just explained it.
Pete, you shouldn't talk when he said someone smarter than us. That's where you shut the fuck up.
Chiming in.
I was like, all right, this is my time.
He goes, well, you know, the asset-backed situation, the derivatives, and the.
Oh my god!
What if Pete was actually smart?
If Pete just
Pete's actually
chimed
Bill
in with
Ackman?
some like,
comment.
this is why efficient market theory doesn't work.
Actually, in this case, there was the Fed backstopped the
You
bonds.
guys would be
and-
baffled if I was that smart.
No, yeah, we
wouldn't
would
know what to do.
Yeah, we'd be baffled.
Well, I wouldn't be working here. Luckily, I'm dumb enough that I stay.
That's true. That is true. I'm very thankful for that. Okay, Millennial Word Monday.
Let's go,
Oh
Florida
man, be careful with that
Now that I
mouth.
have this mic, it's not going back to anyone.
Oh no, we got to burn that mic afterward.
Burn the mic. The word for the Millennial Word Monday is simp. S-I-M-P. Drama, you don't get a go yet. We're starting with
I know that one.
Simp, huh? Any context?
Pete's kind of a simp.
Like a simpleton?
I think that's where it's derived from, but that's not how it's used.
Okay, I'll pass it off to D.
It's just
It's an
SIMP.
acronym.
S-I-M-P.
So
It's not an acronym.
Okay.
So
Okay.
pretty much like,
Pete's a moron, so he's a simp.
let's use it in a sentence. You know, Pete was playing Call of Duty with the boys and he had to stop to talk to his girl. He's such a simp.
Pussy.
Kind
Well, you
of.
kind of
Basic.
just defined it in that sentence.
Okay, I don't know. What does it mean?
It's simply
They
just
still
means,
don't know.
It's just anyone who like pussy whipped, or like if you really think a girl is really hot and you'll do anything for her, you're simping.
Okay.
Got it.
And it's a huge
Simping on
viral
some
trend right
scissor.
now on TikTok.
Like what's really big on TikTok is simping over Madison beer.
Which means what?
That just means you're like, oh my god, like
You'll
I
ju-
would do anything. Like I would drink her bath water.
Okay.
I'm
And-
gonna say.
and then-
Why did she become the person that everyone's simping over?
I don't know. I think she started hanging out with David Dobrik, and she just
Yeah.
became the hot girl on TikTok. Everyone,
Discovered her or whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I
good
like
for
it.
her.
All right.
You didn't know who she was?
I did not know who she was before
She's
David
the
Dobrik.
great Bia's.
No
Yeah,
way.
come on, man.
I know, and then I found out she dated Bia. I was like, fuck.
Bia made her famous. Bia made her famous. Okay, that's all we got, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Make sure you hit us up. You know what I want everyone to do, especially if you're still listening? Hit us up. We're not going to ask you for money or for ads or whatever. But you can hit us up about that too if you want. But really hit us up if you or anyone you know are doing something really great in your community, something that you feel like deserves to be highlighted.
I'm even open to highlighting the shitty ones. If you're just a piece of shit and you're doing something really piece of shitty,
Yeah, as
let me
long as
know.
it's like funny.
Let's hear it.
As long as it's funny or
I'm
like cool to talk about.
Like if you're robbing old people who are sick, let us know.
And also, like, this is hard because we don't ever want to play somebody out and be wrong, but I have been getting some messages trying to expose people who are scamming people in these times.
Oh, wow.
Send us those too, because I'd love to put some people on blast.
Yes.
Like scamming masks or what?
Yeah, so apparently
Like fake
there's
masks?
the biggest one is that there's a bunch of influencers that are like selling or saying that they're selling like masks or PPE equipment or whatever. And
To who? To people. You
yeah,
can
like
sell-
donating it to people in need. And for this much, you can donate X, but they're profiting super heavily.
Oh, that is genius.
And Pete, don't get any ideas. And so there's a lot of that going on. I think that's where I'm seeing a lot of influencers. Like, I think there's a record number of OnlyFans accounts opening up.
What does that mean?
OnlyFans is this new platform where like girls can sell like naked photos of themselves.
Wow.
Well, anyone can, yeah. You can just say subscribe to my OnlyFans account. It's like $10 a month, and you get private access to pictures. And people, I saw Black China's charging $1,000 for a FaceTime. So people are really starting to get a little weird here in these times.
Wow, getting desperate. There's going to be the whole snap porn movement.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, nipples are for sale at an all-time high if you want to see some nips.
Speaking of scamming and being sketchy, a lot of e-commerce companies too are saying percent of profits, percent of proceeds, and it's like 5% of profits, and none of them profit.
Yep.
So they're doing these huge sales to do for like the children in need for hunger or whatever.
Yeah.
People are buying, and 5% of profits on like a $30, $40 T-shirt. 5% of profits
Could be nothing.
could be $1,
And no one's
5%
auditing
of that
it.
is 5 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no one's
auditing
actually
it.
paying it.
No.
They're just
No,
taking
no
all the
one
money and saying, thank you, guys, we'll pay
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd love to expose some of that because there's going to be a lot of that going on, unfortunately, for the next
I
foreseeable
feel like
future.
club promoters became PPE
New Republic,
sellers.
we'll take video of when we donate our masks.
Yeah. There's proof.
Yeah, you have to go to the hospital. I'm not going to go, but you could take video.
Go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
This is Taylor
You,
Field.
Taylor's got
you
antibodies.
two guys go and deliver the mask. Tell them we say thank you.
Okay, there it is, guys. Thank you, and we will see you on
Wait,
Wednesday.
one more thing.
What?
We're almost at 10,000.
Oh, yeah, follow us.
We're 900 away.
Yeah, so we've tried to buy followers like multiple times. They keep getting deleted. So if you could get us organically to 10,000, that'd be really appreciated.
I'd really, really, really
At
appreciate
Group
it.
Chat Pod.
I'd love to
Instagram.
get swipe ups.
Yeah, I mean, really, Pete's been going to work on the page, finding memes. So you're really doing it for Pete.
every single day, in and out.
So if you care about Pete, give us a follow.
Care about me, get your friends to follow, get your family, get your dog.
Okay.
Probably have a dog account.
And that's it. We'll see you later.